Back on? Okay. Let the record reflect that no decision was made in closed session. And then I guess we'll need Marge in here for drainage.
Okay.
Josh, is your internet been working?
Mine was acting up earlier.
I haven't had internet most of the time.
Really?
I can't connect to
That's why my owl was
KCCH
going
or
off before.
KC Public.
Call her up there, see if he's.
No. Yeah, I still don't have internet.
Mine seems fine right now, but I had issues in the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah. Both, Carter and Kyle are having.
In the beginning of the meeting,
I
my
haven't had
teams.
internet most of the meeting from KCCH or Public.
For either? When's the last time you rebooted?
Probably the last time he told me.
Mine can't be that far off. Within the lines.
You're both KC Public and KCCH?
Mine seems fine right now, and yeah, I'm on KCCH, but in the beginning of the meeting, it dropped
Was
the
that
teams
acting up?
meeting and was.
Okay, I'll take a look.
I'll redo it.
If you guys are gonna be around, we've got the dual factor to get set up for you guys, probably takes like 5 minutes per person, so if you got time to do it today, that'd be fantastic.
Okay, I'll reboot and see what happens.
Will you do that, please?
Yep.
Thank you, and then we'll, take a look after that.
Thanks, Derek.
Yep.
Okay.
Are you guys almost done with your meeting?
We're getting close. So
Okay.
we're
Not necessarily.
Okay, I'm just trying to get it to you, okay?
Good morning, Marge.
Good morning.
What have you got for us today?
There's a list. There's the joint drainage district assessments.
Okay.
Gotta look at.
Oh, we're doing that first, that's right, okay. We need to approve the resolution for joint drainage districts for the 12.5 assessments.
I put in.
I know I have them in my packet.
Board folder, it'll be in.
Good.
I see the column with FEMA funds and stuff for the one, but is there any waivers for any of these that are out?
No, no,
Okay, that was checked.
yes, yep. It's a report.
So these are the only, things out there that need to be addressed?
Right now,
This is
yep.
just joint drains.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the, yes, correct, for the joint drains that have outstanding balances, yes.
They're the only
That's
ones.
not, yep,
But not for regular drain, for our
No.
regular drains.
no, this is just the joint drains that have an outstanding.
Are we
Current
doing the
repair.
rest next week, or what's our plan for timeline?
That's
for
what
that?
I'm working on.
Next week or the week
Trying
after?
to work on that and
Okay.
see how you wanna do that.
Your interest column, is that interest to
That's
this
true.
fall or to
December 31st.
Okay.
Who calculates the interest?
It's Solutions, it's a program that. Any other questions?
Good for these right now.
Just curious, what does re-levy mean?
It's,
Re what?
Is that from the,
Regular.
is that based off the original
From
cost
the-
of establishment for the district?
yeah, it's a, that's what was on the sheet that was started, so we can change the name too if you want. or-
I just was curious what it
Yeah.
meant.
So, yeah, so your units of assessment are in that column next to it.
Yeah,
And then the re-levy percentage generates the number that you would need to calculate the number you need for assessing.
I guess I'm just trying to understand it, so 3,022.13%, like where did that number come from?
Okay, so the amount needed in that column, the first column for Kossuth County
Yeah,
is the 1858.79, and then the units of assessment are the 61.51 is what the solutions assessment schedule has for their units. And
is the
then
units based upon like
the whoever,
acres, people?
their benefit according to their classification when it was reclassified or classified. So,
Oh, I see, we're 61.51% of the split. Is that's probably where it's coming
That's
from
their
for
units.
Kossuth?
yeah, well,
Well, it's both actually.
yeah, it turns out, yeah,
percentage
that's
units is
because
same,
the
so-
total assessment,
Yeah, that's what I'm asking, is that where that comes from?
it's the units.
Oh, yeah, it isn't,
units
it isn't
seems-
because
it's-
then the units over on this one is 9,307.72.
Right, so just for
So
this
that's-
particular classification, that's how it turned out. But their classification schedule has it that way. I don't know if anybody will see this.
No, it's
That seems really low for,
I know, so
Units.
their total units were like 100. For this particular classification, that's how they did it.
okay,
And it was before my time, it's just how it's entered in. So, yeah, so Emmett County has 38.49 units in their classification for that.
I was always under the impression the re-levy percentage was based off of the cost of originally establishing the district, because I think there's stuff in the code of if you have to do a
Right,
project over
A percentage of,
percent of the original establishment, then there's steps
Yeah.
that follows there, and I
Sure.
don't have any of that memorized, but I was thinking that
Okay,
re-levy was
and that could
based
be
off of original
why it was
establishment
titled that way, yeah. But this just happens to be how the units are in that particular drain.
cost. I don't think I have questions for these, the waivers, I think, is the big thing, if there's any outstanding waivers out there, we need to see them as a column.
Yeah, it is, that's in this other column, I didn't label it because we didn't have any for this particular one, but for the
Okay.
regular
Well,
drains, there is a
even,
column.
even if there's zero, it'd
Okay,
be
we
good
could
to see
have
that
that.
there,
I can add it to that.
not just having it blank because there's not anything, it should show zero.
Right, okay. Okay. And do the resolution.
I don't think so, it's just trying to understand how it's all calculated, which is not clear, but to me,
We're on number 4.
Yes. What number
Okay.
do you know?
Zero,
It'll start with,
27, it's 4.
this one will be before.
Yep,
Yes.
yep. Okay, so our first resolution is number 05-2725-04 for joint drainage district number EK2 lateral BB3, is that?
Mm-hmm.
I'll move to approve.
Motion by Stecker to approve. Need a second? Second by Wactor. Any discussion on the resolution? If not, roll call vote please.
Haas,
Yes.
Garmin,
yes,
Stecker,
Yes.
Wactor,
Yes.
Nath,
Yes. Motion carries unanimous. And we have a second resolution, this number 05-2725-05 for joint drainage district number EK4. Need a motion?
So-
Motion by Stecker, need a second? Second by Haas. Any discussion on the resolution? If not, roll call vote please.
Haas,
Yes.
Garmin,
yes,
Stecker,
Yes.
Wactor,
Yes.
Nath,
Yes. Motion carries unanimous. And the third one is resolution number 05-27-2506 for joint drainage district number EK5. Need a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Wactor,
Second.
by Stecker. Any discussion on the resolution? If not, roll call vote please.
Haas,
Yes.
Garmin,
Yes.
Stecker,
Yes.
Wactor,
Yes.
Nath.
Yes. Motion carries unanimous. And the last one we have here is resolution number 05-27-2507. Joint for joint drainage district number HK5-87. Motion by Haas. Need a second?
I'll second.
Second by Wactor. Any discussion? If not, roll call vote please.
Haas,
Yes.
Garmin,
Yes.
Stecker,
Yes.
Wactor,
Yes.
Nath.
Yes. Okay, resolution carries unanimous. Okay. And then we have, up next is a discussion of memorandum of understanding, excuse me, for joint drainage district with Humboldt County. This is soft spoken today.
Mm-hmm.
And we met with Humboldt County, went over this, and this is their draft they sent us.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
it should be in my folder.
Yep. So we've got 15,000 as the number in here. Thoughts from the board? Or a motion at any time? To approve it as is, or?
So it
No,
does.
just a
no.
discussion.
Oh, it's just
To talk
Yeah,
about,
it's
yeah.
just discussion.
Oh,
today.
okay,
To see what you,
I'm sorry,
if
yep,
you're interested.
I'm
or
sorry, yep,
What you wanna go forward if you want to.
okay.
So this does specifically only talk about the controlling county having authority to go up to 15,000. And I'm not saying that's wrong or anything, but we should probably
Have it for both,
either have it both ways or have an identified threshold for the non-control county.
sure,
Because, while we were control for all four that we talked about here today for assessments, I'm sure there will be some that could go the other way. I mean, we do have other drains where we are not control county.
yeah,
So, if we're doing tree spraying on ditches or a washout on a bank or something or whatever, or repairing a tile, I would say it should either be reciprocal both directions or at least spell out something, even if it's a smaller, say it's 10,000 for the non-control county or whatever, something should be defined there, I would think.
sure. Well, we can check with Humboldt County to see what they wanna do there, or do we have a thought of number,
Well, they suggested
You're keeping-
15,000.
You're keeping it at 15, or what are you thinking?
or we wanted to keep it at 15?
They said Webster with them were at 5, and, they were looking for some consistency, so they didn't have to think about it, is that fair to say?
They're pushing for
Yeah.
15 from us in Pocahontas County, yeah.
And
Because
they said
Oh,
they were
it's
gonna
not-
talk to
they already
Webster as
had
well
one.
about raising that, but yeah, I think they were, yep.
it was right.
Do we have this memorandum
They have-
of understanding with any other county?
No,
No, we don't.
Do we want to? I'm not saying we do, I was questioning.
I have not talked to.
Question that's raised, yeah.
Yeah, I have not had time personally to talk to the legal counsel for IDDA, but that's what they were saying this came from.
Doug Strait.
From Doug, yeah. I don't know that I have heard of any issues where this has actually been a problem, and that's what we talked about before, that we weren't gonna do anything because we weren't gonna solve a problem that didn't exist. I mean, but the way they're interpreting that whole conversation is that, like that special meeting we had to have on Monday to approve a small repair request, they're viewing that as anything in a joint drain would have to have a conversation. And that's not the way we or any of our neighbors have ever operated before, so,
But
that,
but weren't they saying that this straight was recommending that we weren't, they shouldn't be doing that or whatever.
Right, but I don't know if there was ever a lawsuit or a case that was filed or something, but, I can see the value of having something put down on paper so we know what we're all dealing with. And that's where when we were talking about it, kinda clicked in my head that in all reality, this really wouldn't change a lot of how we operate, it just more clearly defines it, that this is what we're working with, so. I don't know that it's bad to have in place, but I'm pretty sure Winnebago County had said they had no interest in doing anything. Just gonna operate status quo there, so. I don't know. I can see both directions.
I don't have an opinion.
Yeah.
I can see their frustration, and not just us, we blew off a meeting and so they had to, that doesn't happen very often, I'm sure, but,
I think
he brought
it's-
up trust once too, that we should trust each other, I don't know, is there?
The other option we could maybe do, which the thought came into my head as you said, the trust, was we could potentially leave the dollar limit off and say any repairs, that don't require an engineer. Because then you would have the thresholds that are defined in the code of Iowa, which we're all operating under. We could maybe reference it as engineered projects versus non-engineered projects and simplify it.
I had mentioned that to Rick and it didn't seem like that was what they wanted to do.
Well, they're half of the equation.
I know, I'm just saying that they wanted a dollar figure like this.
But if you talk about trust, I mean, we're following we're all having the same set of laws to follow, so if the state legislature updates something or the competitive bid threshold with the DOT adjusts as it's tied to now, I mean, that would be something that would change with the times rather than us having to go back and update paperwork all the time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we're always following the law.
15,000 is a lot, I don't know how I feel about 50,000.
Yeah.
They were not for the 50,000 before, but maybe, I don't know. I say sign them at 15. I don't know.
I just think it gets to be one more thing that everybody's gotta keep in
track
mind.
of and, yeah.
And it's, I mean,
I see where they're polishing their apple, but it doesn't do a thing for us, as far as I understand it, as far as Hancock,
Right.
Winnebago, Emmett, Palo Alto. I suppose we don't count Pocahontas, right, because we don't have one that goes right through the corner probably, but.
yeah,
We have one with Wright.
We do.
We have a tri-county one, yeah.
What is that dollar amount?
We don't have.
We don't
one.
have
We probably
But-
don't have anything.
Oh, okay.
we don't have
Did you say
anything.
we
Oh, I
don't
thought
We
you
have a
said
great,
you did.
great joint, right?
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were saying.
We have a
you did
district
We have a district, but we don't have one. of
Okay,
these.
gotcha.
We don't have one of these with anybody right now.
Yeah, we wouldn't have one with Pocahontas because the river is down
Well, is this common? Is it common for us to have, I mean, not for us, obviously, we don't have one, but is this a common
They just
practice?
brought it up last year,
Humboldt,
so it hasn't been.
who else besides Humboldt is there that actually has them? I mean, they
Right.
said they have one
there.
with
Well, it'd be
Webster,
interesting to
right?
know if like Wright has it with
Their other
Franklin and
neighbors.
Hamilton and, their other neighbors.
Yeah,
Or if it's just with Humboldt County, or Webster, are they doing it with Calhoun and their other neighbors, but I don't know.
yeah, I have not talked to enough of those other guys yet about it.
I don't care,
you won't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
In the city limits of Algona.
Well, no, but I mean, you know, 15,000 reasonable, I suppose it's reasonable enough, I don't, but again, Kyle's right, you know, so 10 years from now, they're revisiting this, because of things have changed, I don't.
Maybe 10 years from now, Howard will have some drainage districts.
Maybe,
Changing districts, are we?
yeah.
Districting, you just don't know what will
Yeah,
happen.
you do.
In 7 years.
Pretty sure I won't be here in 10, how's it, I'm good at that.
Maybe we could reassign drainage responsibilities where we share them all. No, I don't know.
I have no passion here, I guess, whatever, if you wanna,
I don't know if there's anything urgent timeline wise that we need to do this, I mean, I think it'd be good if we talked to
Doug,
more of our other, talk to Doug and then talk to more of our other neighbors as well,
see
and,
what,
I mean,
you can call Dean Cruz, see what he says.
yeah,
But,
yeah, it's just, I think it's
No,
one
it's
of
not
those
an
topics
emergency,
we
yeah.
all, I mean, it'd be one of those things I'd keep on my radar for the next ISAC conference and try and hit them all up at the same time rather than
right,
30 different phone calls, but, I mean,
yep. I don't think any of us are real passionate about it either, Howard,
Yep.
but Humboldt County is.
I understand that, but just, so, you talk about ISAC, what, do you think there's a position out there by the Iowa Drainage District Association, or?
That's what they're saying, is the IDEA.
What, did they put a number to it?
I don't know.
I don't know either, I
It's
mean,
probably just a number Humboldt County is
I'm sure.
comfortable with, I would assume, but
and the other side of that is, I mean, we could do nothing with it till the next IDDA meeting and go to that and talk to people there.
Well, it's in August, right?
Isn't it
no, it's
December?
usually December.
Oh, don't they usually do it? in
December.
August?
No, it's just once a year, but it's usually December. So, I don't know, I guess worst case scenario right now, we schedule for extra meetings with Humboldt County.
Well, I mean, how often do we, those few little districts, we've got one that's fairly sizable, the rest of them are little dinky ones, I don't know.
I don't
The
know,
only ones we really deal with is with Palo Alto, we haven't,
well,
I
that's,
mean,
that's
Hancock,
an
we had
engineering project.
one, but,
Well, that's different, yeah,
but, you know,
anyway.
Yeah,
So the board's desires, let it sit till we talk to more people. Okay,
yeah,
That's fine.
alright. Can do that.
Was there indication, like you said, Winnebago wasn't interested, did they say why? They just,
Probably they don't want the paperwork,
probably, yeah,
why else?
don't wanna deal with it.
So we need to get a more concrete opinion probably from IDDA on what,
Well, that plus, yeah, plus all our neighbors and their
Right,
neighbors and
right.
stuff and figure out what we're gonna do, so we're, I mean,
I guess bottom line is I don't see rushing to agree with Humboldt's 15,000, if, you know, if their desire is to have them all the same, I can get along with that if everybody will get on board.
right,
that's fine, yep.
and I don't know that there's any reason we have to rush at all right now, so.
Yep.
Worst case, like I said, worst case, we have a few extra meetings, but I don't see that being a big deal.
Okay. Well, we'll take no action on it today then. Yeah, need to set a time and date for continued completion hearing for DD 67-4. You got a date in mind?
I did
I've talked to Tyler about it, but he didn't have a date or time off the top of his head, I don't think. But sounds like everything is pretty well wrapped up there, and, now that we're through planting and stuff, it'd be good to get that wrapped up as well, but, no, I think we just need to set a date and time, I don't know if we wanna want me to try calling Tyler, see if he's got availability in his
Right,
schedule?
make sure he's available.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Is this the one where the guy was complaining about the rocks, not
Yeah.
making it into the,
It is,
did that get cleaned up?
I believe so, yeah. I don't know how much was done by the contractor versus landowner, so. Hey Tyler, we're talking about setting date and time for 60/4. Is there any date you had in mind or what would work for your schedule or anything?
Really, it would need to be for, the notice requirements, what is that on completions, at least 10 days?
Do we need to
So
put
we're
in the
looking
paper?
at 2 weeks to have it at a board hearing.
Do we need to put that in the paper or anything?
It would follow the same, it need to be sent to the same, affected landowners and published again, the same notice requirements as the first time around for the completion hearing.
Okay.
I'm just taking a look here at my calendar. That would put us at the 10th, and I am open then.
Okay.
10th or the 17th, I am open.
Do we
The
wanna,
10th, I don't think is far enough out, cause we're not
For,
gonna get it in
for
this
getting the
week's paper.
It won't be in the paper.
probably won't get in next week's paper.
And you're only
right,
gonna have a
so
3-member board that day too.
let's
Yeah,
17th work,
the 17th, we have an
have,
8 o'clock public hearing for the moratorium and a 10 o'clock DD4 lat 11 improvement hearing.
solar stuff I wouldn't think would take more than a couple minutes.
No,
Do
for that.
8:15 then for
No.
that,
Or
8:10?
9 o'clock,
I'd do 8:05, get it done right away.
okay,
I don't know, I mean, we can always come to it later if something takes a while at the solar, but I would do it
I
right
don't,
away,
I don't see what would take a long time, about
I can't
Solar
imagine it
resolution.
would.
okay,
8:05, it's at 8, it's 8:10, or 8:10. It's 8:10, it's not the end of the world.
It's official,
It's
8:10.
8:10.
Yeah,
is that
sign,
what we're
seal,
doing,
and deliver that one.
8:10, we're
Yeah.
doing 8:10,
Yeah.
okay, I'll change it to 8.
Any issues with you right away there, Tyler, on the 17th?
No, I meant if we started at 8:05.
So put
Alright,
8:05,
perfect.
what did
Yeah.
you say?
He said he heard 8:10, chuckled a little bit to himself, and he was good with it.
So what time are we setting it at, 8:05?
8:05.
8:10, no, 8:05, 8:05.
8:05.
I'd make the motion to set it the, 17th of June at 8:05. If we get there late at 8:10, that's okay too, but, yeah.
Okay,
Do we need a second?
We might. Motion by Stecker, second by Wactor. Okay, setting the completion hearing, continued completion hearing for D 60/4 at 8:05 on June 17th.
And then we'll get notices sent out, published, and
Yep,
that'll
Yep.
work.
Yep. Okay, we got a motion and a second on the floor, any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries unanimous.
Perfect, thanks Tyler.
Thanks all.
See ya.
Have a good one.
thanks, bye Tyler.
Okay, repair requests.
Howard, you are being quite pesky this morning.
What?
I'm getting spam emails, but
Oh.
it says it's from Howard, and it says, how are you doing today? I hope
Tell
this
you I
email,
want $5 million, that's
No.
my history.
Hey,
It
don't
doesn't.
worry, I was sending spam emails about giving employees gift certificates and wanting them to handle it discreetly at one point in
but
time.
you
Oh,
sent the first one at 10:33 and the second came at 10:46, so you're quite persistent.
Yeah, okay.
He's looking for answers.
You're efficient doing that during the board meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
date where two of us were gonna be gone?
10th.
10th.
What are we doing, or I shouldn't ask, or
You can
What
s-
if- the-
who's gonna be
Who's
gone?
gonna be-
I am
Oh,
going to.
I'm gonna be gone.
Okay,
I'm at a convention.
is there anything important that day, or do we just cancel it?
I think we can do it with 3, I
I
think
know
we
we
have.
can't, exactly.
No, I mean, I think we have stuff on there that we need to meet that day.
Okay,
No,
Maybe just keep
maybe
it
not.
at a minimum or something.
Maybe not.
Maybe not, I don't show anything, so.
Oh, well,
Um,
maybe just keep it at a minimum,
Yeah.
or just don't,
We'll decide next week if you wanna do it.
there's nothing
yeah,
wrong with
let's
not doing
make a
it.
note for our agenda next week that we figure out the agenda and see if we actually need to or not, we could talk about it at our next meeting.
yeah, we do that every week, so,
Yeah, I
Pretend,
know.
pretend the cities have a primary election.
no, that's not.
No, I know. Okay. Alright, Amber, you got a couple over there?
Sure. Alright, I have request number 36. DD 63, section 11 of Burnt Township in the southeast of the southwest quarter. It's also lateral 1. So is 63 not reclassified?
Correct.
Okay. Anyway, I did talk to the landowner and I did have him call Marge so that this could be taken care of, and, it's just a broken tile washout that needs repaired. Number 37, DD 16, section 17, Fenton Township, southeast of the southwest quarter, broken tile, large washout that needs repaired. That's it.
Okay. Kyle?
Yep, I had 34 and Hebron 35, for tree roots, need to be cleared out of a tile, and then number 35 is in green with 30, washout along a ditch. That's the two I got.
Okay. I got an easy one, I got number 33 in HK 3-46. And it's from Joel Scowl out of Broken Tile and already was repaired, so. Rights will get that. I need a motion for supervisors to handle their requests.
So moved.
Motion by Wactor and a second by Haas. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries unanimous. Alright, anything else for Marge? I do. Or two, oh sure. Two things. When do we want to meet as a board to discuss responding to the request last week for DD4?
I was gonna talk about that too.
And then
Yeah.
secondly, when can we have an informational meeting with, or for the residents of Whittemore and their city council and whatever for DD40 project there. So those are two things that we need to set a time for.
Now, for the DD4, they were requesting a public hearing,
They
Well,
wanted a meeting.
Their
a meeting.
Yeah,
their petition asks for information,
correct.
but he requested a hearing, so that's what I was gonna ask today is, am I supposed to be getting that information, or do they want that provided at that meeting?
I think they wanted to provide it at a meeting, yeah, that's what I gathered.
I think the big thing is to, and I don't know, but wondering if the big thing is they wanna make sure that all landowners are notified.
I would say,
Yeah, well, if we do a meeting, we'd have to go through the whole process for,
right,
mail and, I mean,
Well, I'm
For an
assuming that's
information-
what they want.
for an
but-
informational meeting, you don't have to go through the actual newspaper publication stuff, but I will.
Well, then we need to mail the
Even,
landowners.
even mailing notice is gonna be extensive with 46,000 acres,
right.
but
But I think we need to in this case, because they want answers, so.
They do, they do. So,
well, the one thing I will say, and I think I might have said it last week too, we can't explain the whole situation with just starting at 2019 because that doesn't answer the question. I mean, you could look at it from a bare bones perspective. This last project cost less than $2 million. We've already received over $1 million from FEMA, and we've assessed over $1 million in the last couple of years. So that entire project's still been paid for by those short-term details. And the fact that there's still an outstanding balance, it's pretty simple. There's stuff prior to that had to be addressed, that had to be part of it, so. We have to go back farther than 2019, that's, I guess.
Is it specific projects that they're questioning?
Some yes, some no.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
If it's specific,
I don't think there was specific in the
Well, I think
petition,
it-
it's all.
No,
pretty
not
broad.
listed in the petition, but I think it comes down to the phase 1 and phase 2 of that project that was started in, what, 13,
17, 18.
17?
were-
Well, that's when they were
16,
assessed,
yeah.
but
Yeah, they would have started prior to that, yeah.
yeah.
well, whatever the information that is put forward, it has to be clear and for everyone to see,
Right.
well, that's why I was asking,
you know.
or I didn't mean to interrupt you, I'm
No,
sorry.
no, no, it's okay, I just think it just needs to be very clear and, as to what their questions are answers to them.
Yeah. That's why I was asking, when does the board want to meet and discuss what those clear answers are gonna be? So that we can determine when to have a meeting with the landowners. That was what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
When are we going to meet and discuss it without it being a public hearing?
Well, I know, and they do have the right to come.
Well, they can be here, that's
Yeah.
fine,
But,
we need to talk about how we're gonna answer that though.
Well, and make
Or
sure we have a
present what
list
we
of the
have.
questions, so we're answering all their questions.
May,
I had
exactly.
to review the information before we send out notices and then show up to a hearing and we're like, oh, why do we have this, or this doesn't make sense, or whatever.
Correct.
The whole board needs to understand.
Something like that, we all need to be on the same page and,
you know, the whole board and, you know, with Marge and probably the treasurer.
Yeah,
yeah, Nick will wanna be here too.
yep, all those records and stuff need to be reviewed and, understood before we try to
Yeah.
present them.
For sure.
Because I think that what's being questioned is where the money was put towards and if it was accurately accounted for. I don't know, maybe I didn't word that correctly, but we have to be able to show that. Which we should be able to,
Oh, definitely, yeah.
so,
I mean,
without it being too muddy.
you want to, how soon you wanna do it?
Couple weeks in the afternoon,
Well, in a couple of weeks, that'll be the 10th,
oh, 17th in the
17th.
afternoon?
and then I would say on the agenda, it's,
I can't be here from 1:30 to 3:30 on Tuesday the 17th. I do know that.
How about the following 24th?
I could be here the 24th.
Yeah, let's just do it the 24th and everybody has enough.
Do it
Notice
1
that
o'clock,
it's
1
gonna
o'clock on
be
the
a-
24th,
For board workshop?
board workshop.
board workshop, and then put on the agenda following that to set a time for informational meeting.
Well,
Yeah,
no, we
The next
might
week.
not get all the questions answered in one.
Just leave it at that, we
just
can
need to
always
have a
throw it on the
discussion.
agenda.
And we don't
Next week.
necessarily have to have a motion to set that, oh yeah, okay, never mind.
For a
No,
board workshop, we don't
No,
need a
no,
motion,
but-
but
No.
to set a hearing, we need to.
We can make a
for that.
determination if we want it on the agenda to set a time,
Depending on how much information is reviewed and how detailed everyone wants to get, I don't know that you'll have a clear picture in one workshop.
So do you want board workshop DD4, or what, how do you want it?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I guess that's fine. I just can't figure out why it's so muddy. Why is it so muddy? I mean, they're asking, here's a project, show where the money went. Here's a project, show where the money went. Why is that muddy? Why is that gonna take afternoons and afternoons of discussion?
Well, you can show the money, but I don't think that's all they wanna know. They wanna know why the assessments were, why there were extra assessments. So I don't think it's just that they wanna know where the money went. They wanna also know why there was extra assessment.
The shortest version I can give is, you could look at the records of what was assessed and what was approved as bills and the warrants and all that. But if you look at when the warrants were redeemed, that doesn't directly correlate with what was assessed because we received FEMA money. So when the FEMA money came in and paid off those, older warrants that were out there, it distorts the picture of what their actual cost was.
So what-
Because
okay, sorry.
the money didn't come in from an assessment for that project. So it's,
But shouldn't FEMA money, if we get federal dollars that's designated for a certain project, that money should go to pay warrants for that project?
it should have,
It
but
sh-
it didn't
the way the fund
because
is
of
set
the
up,
first in,
pays
first out
oldest.
timeline of warrants.
Yeah.
When you have to pay the oldest warrant on the book first, it's
Not in cases where there's FEMA money involved, I mean, because that's specific, this is just the way I'm thinking, it's not saying I know this for fact, I'm just thinking, if federal dollars come through, it needs to pay for those projects. So if you're paying for the oldest, it should have gone towards those projects.
right.
I mean, I think that could,
Treasure.
so if it didn't, we need to say that. We-
When was
it?
It was,
Okay, well, I don't know what's been said, but I'm just
When
saying,
was
if
that
that didn't
first
get
FEMA
done, we
money?
have to say that. We just need to lay it out there, no matter what it was, so they
Not
have their
federal
answers.
dollars.
I think that's all they care about.
They've been given answers more than once, but it's a very complex topic because you have two projects within a 10-year time period and multiple assessments, and one of them had FEMA dollars associated, and it's just a complex situation.
What were the project numbers, do you remember?
I don't have any of that. off the
Yeah.
top of my
Were the
head.
project numbers, I mean, are both of those projects complete, done?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep, the first one was engineered with McClure.
wasn't there like a 2365 or something?
this one, the first phase one ends in a,
McClure's,
10.
McClure's number, so phase one and phase two was McClure's.
Yep,
yeah,
and then the last one that would have been with FEMA, Bolton Mink was the engineer on, and McCarty's were the contractor, so. It's just a complex situation, it's not like the other ones that we talked about extensively last year where there was a project in 2012 or 2013 and nothing else significant happened on those districts in that time period. That's a lot easier
Well, from
to
the,
see.
yeah, and I think from their comments, they thought they were whole up till about 2019.
They
Is what
weren't.
I thought they said.
They might have thought that, but they weren't.
Okay, so that is the missing piece that they don't know about?
That has been said many times.
well, I think part of the problem is they wanna see it. And they wanna see it where they don't have to go through 100 pieces of paper and try to understand it. We need to have it clear because they're not understanding it.
Yeah. This date, this happened, this
Yeah.
date, this happened, and here's the difference. I mean, that shouldn't have to be that muddy if
I know.
it's.
But part of it was there's waivers which offset some of that, so you don't get your full dollar amount of your assessment. So then that carries over. So there's outstanding balance and there's outstanding waivers coming in. And
Right,
you're,
but that needs to be noted somewhere,
Yes.
so.
And
it was kind of presented that way, but it wasn't clear to
Oh.
everyone. So
Okay,
that's what we need to be better at.
We need to be better at being clear.
Right, yeah,
I think they'll be happy if they get a
Yes.
clear and concise answer.
I agree.
6:24?
yes, 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Yeah.
We'll talk more then.
Okay, thanks, Marge.
How about for DD40 though, for informational meeting for Woodmore? I would
Do you want-
suggest if there's an evening time that would work simply because if we want anybody from city council or just residents in the community in general, most of them are gonna be working during the day, so.
How about the 24th?
Do you,
Is it
Putting in a full
informational,
anyway.
is this an informational?
It'd be
Is that-
informational meeting for,
Oh,
discussing,
yeah, that's
do
true.
you,
discussing cost options and options in general.
what I thought about, I just mentioned Amber, but I wonder when their city council meeting is, if we could correlate it with that.
They meet the
Let me look.
second Monday. No, they meet the first Monday of every month, cause the same as ours, yeah. If they
Okay.
meet the first Monday,
That might be a decent time to correlate
7
it
o'clock.
because their public would already be notified about that meeting. And if they put it on their agenda, we put it on our agenda, we send notices out, they'd already be there for their,
are you saying us go to Whittemore?
yeah, or have them come here
Yeah.
on the same night.
No,
I have no problem going
Yeah.
there, I just,
I think we need to coordinate with them and see what their agendas look like and what works for them before we set it.
yeah, well, and
Cause
maybe,
it would probably have to be the July meeting, cause
Yeah.
obviously we're.
Right,
Yeah.
you'd have to have
Yeah.
notice to let
Too
people
late
know
for-
and,
but
Yeah.
if we do one on,
Yeah,
it'd be the
go on.
6th of July, no,
Seventh.
sorry, the 7th of July, yeah.
I'm not going around on Sunday.
yeah, I mean,
Tentatively, let's try and do that if,
You wanna contact,
coordinate it with,
Linda and see if
yeah.
it works to be on the agenda?
And maybe if they think they've got an hour's worth of their regular business and they wanna do that first and then we come.
or a meeting room that's,
Well, I know like if we had something like that in Laverne, we'd just do it at, say, 6 and then do our regular business as usual at 7 or whatever, you know.
Yeah. Or they could just have their, yeah, whatever.
They'll,
timing
they'll
and
do
stuff.
their thing, they,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could handle that however
Yeah.
they wanted, but I think if we coordinated it with their schedules a little bit.
yeah, contact
Okay.
them
Yeah.
first.
we'll have to
That
on
drainage
on that one.
DD 40, 40, yeah.
You'll let me know, and I can put that on my calendar when you let me know.
Okay,
Okay, let's
okay,
see how we turn
Okay.
out there.
alright, sounds good.
Alright, thanks Marge.
Thank you.
I brought up the existing people in, is it DD 72 going to DD 133?
Okay,
Is the board asking for any legal representation at all for this?
I don't know that we have yet, but we should have, probably would be helpful to have legal counsel there.
And if you would object to me using the same person, I guess, for the road crossing, to make sure we do the proper procedure there, I guess is what I was thinking.
I mean, I'd say Hudson,
Hudson.
we usually use him for more general stuff, if there's any litigation, goes more towards Goodwin, cause Hudson doesn't do any litigation, but
we're not in litigation for.
no, that's what,
No.
so, yeah, I'd say Hudson
So
would be
have
fine.
Hudson for the,
Yeah,
that meeting, okay. Okay.
Do you wanna make a note to contact him for
Yep.
that? Okay.
Thanks, Marcia.
yep, thank you.
Yep. Do you have anything else on that, Doug?
No,
Okay,
just,
yep,
if you guys are gonna do that, you'll be familiar with both.
yep, hope that works,
Okay, very good. Thank you.
yep, thanks Rex.
Next, you need a quick break, alright, we'll do a quick break and we'll come back for health insurance workshop.
Is Donna gonna come over for this?
I don't know, she
Okay.
said she had some business,
Okay.
if she could make it, she would, I
Okay.
don't know.
I sent her the
Somebody
email
wants-
too, so,
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
it's,
So this,
give her
this thing.
a income 500,
okay,
see if she's
Yeah.
available.
okay, and then we'll stamp and sign this, when you get the stamp.
I did.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Look at you,
Way ahead of you.
way ahead of me, Carter. Thank you.
Yep.
Contact that was here previously that had concern with this thing, and make sure they had any damage claims, they had them filled out and submitted, so if anybody turns anything in, we'll have to act on it and discuss through it, but there shouldn't be anyone showing up that's not prepared for it,
Okay.
so, yeah, I asked him to go above and beyond on that one, and I know right after we had talked, he emailed me and Marge
you know, come back 5 years from now.
Well, and the biggest reason we had to continue it at the last one is cause they didn't have their work done.
Right.
So that's on the contractor.
But those guys were unhappy too.
They were unhappy with that, but
There was no seeding that had to be done on that one.
no, that's all a tile, project, so the areas that would have been disturbed would have been planted and, well, if someone had CRP above the tile, then yes, there could be seeding, but that's on the landowner's responsibility. They can turn in a damage claim, but that's the landowner's responsibility. But the far majority of it would have been crop ground for corn and beans, so they would have worked it, planted it this spring.
I know the one guy said it would grow a crop, but I didn't believe him either.
I can't imagine that. I mean, you drive up there right now and I bet you it's got some growing.
I got a couple spots I should have done when I did it.
Well, if they're not growing right now, you still got the opportunity to replant. It's, I can't imagine it's that bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good questions, cause
I don't wanna redo it either, resend notice and all that stuff. But the contractor's retainage is what we would release and approve at that point, and,
well, both, I mean, these engineers are getting a lot of money, so they should have known about the rock issue before that day too.
well, they knew there were rocks up there, but I don't know. if
The
they-
engineer's getting a lot of money, the contractor's getting a lot of money, let's get it done.
Well, and I told Tyler a couple times too that better techniques from the contractor would have eliminated all that, like you can clean up your rock as you go.
How you doing,
Be
Andrew?
right quick, I'll be right back, I'm only gone.
I should,
Whoa,
I
careful.
can't kick my own stuff across the room. Shouldn't put it there, right?
Well,
Or they don't make well.
just don't let your feet get in the way there, that's.
Coffee here.
I'm gonna call one of these drainage people real fast.
I think this is in your electronic, but I still
Thank you.
like to look at
Yeah,
Thanks.
papers instead of electronic files.
Hi, Mike. Hey, it's Amber Carter, how are you? Good, hey, I'm looking at your drainage repair request here. Is there someone that you usually prefer to use for your tile, or? Okay, very good.
Said I could pick up some rocks.
Well,
Did you wanna go along to realize why
It
you
says,
do
it says 12, 15, or
Don't
16.
you have one of those nice fancy
tile, is what it says on the
rock
yes. I
catchers or
doesn't say
whatever?
26.
Loader with the belt? No, I don't.
Yeah, you pull behind you and, no,
Okay,
everything's Armstrong,
okay,
back
so,
strong.
so you don't have a preference, Blair or Reitzel, you don't have a,
I've done it before.
I tried to tell my 3.5-year-old that he was missing out on
Yeah.
grandson. And missing out on educational
Well.
opportunity, he was gonna, grandpa was gonna be done before he got a chance to,
Yeah,
he didn't understand. To stay in school.
Oh.
so-
do you know
do
who
you
did
use a
it?
tracker?
Yeah.
Flower
Yeah.
tracker?
No.
There you
Oh, I see, yeah, and I can
Is
see
Donna
it on
coming?
here.
no, I have not been able to reach her, I know she
It's
had some stuff
amazing
going on this morning, so she said if she
The
could,
amount
she
of
would,
rocks.
otherwise
Okay.
not, and, I did send her an email,
80
so,
acres of,
and I tried calling her and she didn't answer, so,
You did try calling her?
yeah.
Okay,
And more,
We'll go through
more rocks you couldn't handle manually.
gotcha.
Oh, really?
This year, I've had it
Well,
15 there. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't.
We didn't go deeper with tillage, we didn't go, we
Well,
Not a rock.
last fall, you got them, or this spring?
Oh, got it in the spring.
This spring? Yeah, that's a,
Ongoing project.
yeah, it's amazing how rocks can float or be brought up to the surface with a hydraulic action, freeze and thaw.
You understand, I mean, I've read about that in several different places, but I still don't understand why it's. I think the freezing would force them down as much as it would force them.
Yeah, it's a funny how it forces them up, so. And you'd think that there'd get to be a point where they
Would be
would,
done.
yeah. But doesn't seem to happen.
Okay, all here and good to go?
no,
Okay. There's a health insurance workshop put on the agenda and I turned it,
Yeah, we just, would like to just go over this comparison where we have a couple of weeks ago, we went through it and, came up with, it's just a fictitious comparison. We don't know what is gonna happen, but I wanted to present it to the board. Tammy we've been visiting, Donna been visiting, and, I think Donna has been visiting with Michelle, and I think Michelle can incorporate it as an educational tool. But we have two health, benefit plans where the, current plan would be a single $1,000 deductible, family 2,000. That's in-network, non-network. The deductible aggregates, that's if, it doesn't mean that $2,000 per person, $1,000 per person, that, for the family, it's when you actually get to 2,000, if 6 people do it, that meets the deductible. Co-insurance, talks about on our current plan, ER deductible, followed by co-insurance is in our plan. Out-of-pocket maximum for our current plan's $1,500, 3,000. Out-of-pocket maximum for the, non-network for our current plans, single 1,500, 30, and families 3,000. And again, that aggregates. Pharmacy, it goes down and compares everything. Then we have it's called embedded, but a high deductible health plan. We go through what the benefits are there. Deductible is, for single is 3,300, family is 6,600. That's the same for non-network. It's aggregated as well. There is no co-insurance, in-network or non-network. It's all just part of the deductible. In the emergency room, it's a deductible followed by the co-insurance. So your out-of-pocket maximum is $3,300 and $6,600 for both non-network and in-network, and they are aggregate. And then the pharmacy plan, it's all part of the same deductible, aggregated. So it just kind of goes through, that's what your benefits are on both sides. And then the cost to employees for the current plan was mentioned to just put a $100 per month for single, $350 per month for a family. Flexible benefits, that's what current employees can use to meet some of the deductibles. And health savings account on the current is not available. The high deductible health plan would be no cost to the employee. There would be no flexible benefits. And then the health savings account, the county would match up to $60 per month. So I just kind of wanted to, or we, Tammy, Donna, and I wanted to make sure that's what we had talked about, that that's how we want to approach it with this open enrollment meeting. Just to make sure that we did not err with any communication that was given, so.
Looks like what we talked about.
Okay,
So. My vision is to tell them that this is an example. There's
stress.
this is what it could be, this is not necessarily what it will be. If you try to educate yourself to understand what this is, I mean,
And Michelle's gonna be here to present this and present
Correct.
any information on all
Yeah,
of these
We
options.
we did think it would be valuable for a board member or two to be there to emphasize what Howard just said. You know, that this isn't set in stone, that this is
it's not even
just,
said in Plato.
yeah, yeah, that this is just a
Don't
rough
come back a year
draft.
from now and say, you said.
Right, so, but we thought that that's not up to Michelle to be telling them that should be coming from a supervisor.
I mean, I think there's value in that, I would, if we can all make it, great, but, and hopefully we all do, but, or various different times,
Mhm.
obviously, but at the end of the day, I guess, I don't know how many more times we can say it in this meeting on recording that this is an example. If anybody's confused about that, I would think it's pretty
Well,
easy to verify.
I'm
and
assuming you're
double
gonna send, you're gonna hand this out.
As many employees.
I
that
don't
want
know, Howard.
I don't either, I don't know that you need to or don't need to, but again, the last thing I don't even remember the time slots were all in the morning except, or
1 in the afternoon, and then 2 or 3 in the morning. One's mostly for secondary road, and then there's,
7 o'clock,
and then there's
10
a,
o'clock, and 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
And-
be at the 7 o'clock
So I
one.
was gonna say, I can do that.
Yeah,
I think we'd
that's
all
the
be
one I
on.
have, that's the one I have to be at.
Where are we at?
Otherwise I'd come a different one.
I think it's over at the
election
election.
center, yeah.
And then has anybody signed up for the PM one?
No, I don't, I think she had 1 person, and so she's not gonna do the PM one.
Okay,
Well,
So it's just
about
the
that
7 or
period.
10.
How long is this,
And the 1,
each one, are they each
Hour,
3
you
hours,
said
or they're an
PM.
hour?
he meant 5 o'clock PM. She was
Oh,
gonna offer.
you said PM, so I thought you meant the 1 o'clock
No,
PM one, yeah, okay,
No.
never mind.
What, sorry.
I got my question answered, you're good.
and the other one was at 10, then, right?
7:10.
We could divide that up, that'd be great.
Except everybody wants 7.
Well, I already have people scheduled up all day.
I'm saying.
7 o'clock is what I have to do. I have people scheduled like,
I'm going to Humboldt, but yeah.
I will make it a point to be here for all 3.
Thank you,
I'll try to.
thank you. All of you.
I can try to do the 1 o'clock one.
well, we all have to come to one.
Yeah,
Because we all have to be at every single one,
no,
because we're all gonna have
As
the
long
same
as
message.
one person
What
is
it
at
could
each one
be.
and says, this is what,
And
Please don't take this as this is
If-
what it's going to be.
if we have a handout, as whether it's this one or something like it, maybe be handy to put a category on there, asterisk that says this is an example.
oh, I think
Yes, we
for right now, maybe it's just better to put it up on the screen to show them and not do a handout. I don't know.
They might
I
like
don't
to look at it.
I think it'd be handy to have them in their hands.
Yeah, you can
Say,
remember
this is-
everything that
this
you
is
read
an
on the
example.
screen,
I
and
mean,
you
Okay.
can be able to.
Be less confusing to them, I think, cause then they can.
And maybe you
Especially
do,
if they're gonna wanna talk to Michelle about anything in particular, they should
Okay.
have that.
Then we should put that on there then, yes.
yeah, I
And
mean,
yes, I will
you could even do,
emphasize
well, I'd even do,
educational purposes only.
I'd even do a bar under the section with the cost to employee. Is this in effect now, yes or no? And you could write example or current there, I mean, however it gets done, I think it should be on paper that it's an example.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds
I
fine.
agree.
I'll change current to traditional,
And the
so
top-
yes, it would not be anything, so try to not associate anything with
Oh, yeah,
current health.
Oh, that's
the very top of the page, Doug, hygiene.
Yeah, health is misspelled, is out here,
Yeah, that,
yeah. I got, sorry.
did we get the question confirmed with Michelle on infertility? It's got a limit on transfer procedures in our current plan, doesn't have anything listed on the other side, is there no limit or no coverage? That was a question that's been asked a couple times.
I don't remember. I remember talking about it, but
Yeah, 'cause it's blank still.
Yeah, we need an answer on that before open enrollment for sure.
okay,
And it might be no limit, it might be no coverage, but one way or the other,
You
we
should have something.
should answer that question.
Okay,
Alright,
okay. Thank you, Doug.
thanks.
thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
discussion with the county auditor.
Okay, so next week, we have approval of liquor license for abate, approval of fireworks for abate, review handbook 1.6 to 1.15. Regular stuff, and then next,
Did you say liquor license and fireworks for a
Yep,
bit?
yep.
Fireworks thing didn't make it through the government, the state government.
it did, but they've always, well, and there's certain regulations for that state one, like the time you can do it, the time, so I don't
I
know
think
if
it's
there's.
between certain dates.
Yeah.
But they'd still be within those dates though.
Doesn't, it doesn't hard, I guess.
Well, I think it's also based on the type of fireworks you're shooting, because if they're gonna be doing, higher grade pyrotechnics, you need to have permit in order to do that regardless.
And this may be just something they're doing cause they've always done it too, so.
Maybe they can do the $1,000 donation, cause they've always done it too.
$3,000.
How about five?
Yeah. There you go.
Last year's.
Yeah,
So today is the first day for our new housekeeper, so if you see her, please introduce yourself to her. Her name is Kim. I did send out an email this morning to everybody letting them know, so if they saw a new face, they would know who she was. The ad is in the paper for somebody to replace Ron over at the sheriff's office.
His last day is when?
The 30th of
Ron
June,
Reefer?
yes.
Oh, I didn't even know he had his last day coming up.
You must have not been here that day when we were talking about it.
You were gone that.
yeah,
Oh.
I think
Okay.
you were, I think
Okay.
you were gone that
Yeah.
day.
Oh, of course.
Okay. Yeah, so he is retiring.
The one day I was
so,
gone.
yeah. And then we already talked about the information for DD4, and I think that's all I have, that's all I've written down.
Okay,
Tomorrow morning is 7:30.
Correct,
breakfast, yep.
yeah. At Columbia Event Center, yeah.
Yep.
We all gonna try to sit together, are we all going
I'm going, yeah.
together? If somebody gets there before, we can
Six,
save a
six
few
seats.
spots, maybe.
Okay, sounds good,
And I'll do the same if I
Yep.
get there first.
Yep.
okay. Sounds good.
I got two different notes, 7:30 to 9 and 7:30 to 9:30. Is there a,
It says 7:30 to 9 on the card, I thought.
I think it is.
We just looked at this morning on the
It's here.
desk
Sounds
calendar.
I have 7:30 to 9:30 written down, but I could be
I
wrong.
thought postcards at 7:30 to 9. I marked myself off till 9:15, so.
Yeah.
I looked at my postcard,
At
but I
9
gave
o'clock,
that to
I
you,
know.
Howard.
I may have it here.
I have mine hanging at my desk.
7:30 to 9. Yep,
Yeah.
That sounded right.
Yep.
Is that it?
I think that's because you got the bankers and such that are there and they start at 9.
That's funny.
Well played.
Okay, Howard, you got any committee reports? Nothing. Alright, Amber,
Nope.
Kyle?
Yeah, extensive conversations for
Okay.
CIJDC this last week. We had an executive committee meeting here on Wednesday, which was like 5 hours. And then our full commission meeting on Friday was 4.5. So, quite a bit of time dedicated to that this week, but, financials and stuff are looking good like normal. The action after closed session in regards to the Hardin County lawsuit is the executive committee was directed to respond to Hardin and try to kind of settle that out, so we will be working with our attorney to try to get that worked through. That's been a long time in the process already, but we talked about the budget and the raises that were proposed. There was quite a bit of conversation about that, and then at both meetings, but we asked for some different information and metrics to get brought back to us for the full commission meeting next month, so that's when we'll actually act on it, but I think that's most of the highlights I can give there. Personnel policies, we're still gonna, have some more conversations about that. We had more information we need to request from the attorney and confirm and clarify a few things, so that's still in the works. Anyways, I think that's most of what I had that hasn't already been talked about, so.
Okay. Josh?
I had no meetings.
I had no meetings either, I got care connections this afternoon. So. Okay. Nothing else, motion to adjourn. Motion by Haas, second by Stecker. Any discussion? No, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries unanimous. And we are adjourned at 11:35 a.m.